When a federal judge looks a Trump Department of Justice attorney in the eye and says, I feel like I'm a cat and you are playing with me with a ball of string. And every time I reach for it, you're jerking the ball of string away. When you're a federal judge say that she feels you're playing cat and mouse or cat and ball with the federal judge, you're already in a losing position. You are wrapped around your axle. You are in both feet in buckets at that moment. Judge Xinis is not having it. She's up to here. My hand is under my chin with the disobedience of the Trump administration in the Abrego Garcia case. And it all spilled out into the open during a hearing that was supposed to be about whether, Donald Trump and his Department of Justice is properly asserting privileges or not, like the state secrets privilege and the executive privilege to prevent the other side from getting any documents whatsoever about what they're doing, if anything, to comply with the court's order, not just a court order, a single federal judge's order, as they like to say, an order that has been affirmed by the United States Supreme Court, a command of the United States Supreme Court, 9-0, to take steps to facilitate the return of Abrego Garcia, 9-0, even with Alito and Thomas on the Supreme Court. And then they told Judge Xinis in Maryland, you are to take control over this case, administer this case and justice. You're doing the right thing when it comes to due process, the Fifth Amendment rights. Get him home and find out what steps have been taken to facilitate his release. And ever since, Donald Trump has been playing cat and ball or cat and mouse with the judge. I can't tell you. I won't tell you. I would never tell you. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. I would never tell a federal judge what we're doing diplomatically. Publicly, they're bragging in social media posts about Abrego Garcia never seeing the light of day, never being brought back to the United States, never stepping foot in the United States during the Trump administration, all in open defiance of Judge Xinis and the United States Supreme Court. She even said to the lawyer at the Department of Justice, how is that statement posted on the Homeland Security social media post, those two statements about he'll never return? How is that not an open confession of disobedience and contempt of my orders? Explain that to me. And this is my favorite part. All the Department of Justice lawyer could say is, well, it depends on the nuance, Your Honor. You have to take into account the nuance. What effing nuance? You're ordered to facilitate his return. She is ordered by her bosses at the Supreme Court to find out what you've done to get him to return. And you say you won't tell them, and you publicly announce you'll never bring him home. What is the nuance? You want nuance? Come to MeidasTouch and Legal AF. I'm Michael Popok. Let's dive into this. So we had a hearing. And during the hearing, the judge effectively said the following against the Trump administration. She said, I ordered depositions. Those are questions and answers under oath, like live testimony in the courtroom with a court reporter, of 5 different people from the administration. And all of them shrugged their shoulders and said, we don't know what happened to Abrego Garcia. We don't know what the administration's doing to get him out. You're supposed to give me witnesses. You're supposed to give the other side witnesses. And so that I understand them, who know with knowledge what is going on with Abrego Garcia. I don't want to hear that yes, I'm happy that he's healthy. Apparently, you're telling me he's healthy in some other prison. You're supposed to tell me what you're doing to get him out, and you won't. I feel like a cat, and you keep moving the string. And that is a problem. They said, well, Judge, we're in good faith. She said, you're not in good faith. You're in bad faith. And that is that magic language, bad faith, just as the backdrop. Judge Xinis is considering whether she's going to find the Trump administration in contempt and the Department of Justice in contempt. She would be the second judge to do so. Judge Boasberg, the chief judge of the district court in DC, already found probable cause for criminal contempt for noncompliance about the Immigration, Deportation, and Alien Enemies Act issues in his case. She'd be the second one. And this is what all the backdrop is. Just to put it in context, the hearing was about documents to give the other side ammunition to be able to complete their motion for contempt against the Trump administration. The judge is more than halfway there. I mean, the judge is on the 1 yard line on contempt by the way that Donald Trump and the Department of Justice is abusing the discovery process, the information exchange process. And she called them out. She said, you are in bad faith. And I don't like your Department of Homeland Security filings either. She said, I'm taking quotes from people that were in the room for this. She said, I got a goose egg from depositions about knowing what's been done. And there's a split screen narrative. Everybody in the Trump administration is playing cat and mouse with Abrego Garcia. Well, he'll never return. And the lawyer for the Department of Justice interrupted and said, well, there's a nuance there. She said, what's the nuance? The statement by the Department of Homeland Security is that he'll never step foot back in the United States during the Trump administration. What is the nuance that I am missing? Well, they just meant, here, now we're going to change the language. They just meant that he'll never be released from detention. Right. But you understand, sir, you're missing out a piece. You're missing a piece. The Supreme Court has ruled, as have I, that they're entitled to due process. Fifth Amendment due process. Do you get it? They're entitled to process rights. See, that's why at the very same time this was going on, the United States Supreme Court issued a 7-2 ruling against Donald Trump in deportations and sending people to Venezuela against their will. And in it, in the order, they mentioned the Abrego Garcia case. They said, we are grounding the planes of you continuing to fly people in the middle of the night or any other time to El Salvador or anywhere else away from federal jurisdiction because we want due process and for these people. And we'll tell you what that due process and notice looks like. But we can't do that if you send them off to El Salvador in the middle of the night. And they cited this Abrego Garcia case in their 7-2 decision against Donald Trump and said, you are taking the position in the Abrego Garcia case that he is long gone and in El Salvador and you can't get him home. And we want to avoid that situation in the future. So we're grounding the planes till the issue of the Alien Enemy Act, proper application or not, is brought before the United States Supreme Court in good time and in our time, not your time. And we're tired, this is reading between the lines of the Supreme Court, we're tired of being whipsawed by Donald Trump. Turn off the engines, get everybody off the plane. We'll, in due time, get this matter to the Supreme Court and make a ruling once and for all about the Alien Enemies Act. But in the meantime, stop trying to stampede us into decisions. That's my interpretation. The weather, it's heating up, and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, no matter the weather. So you get better sleep every night. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Upgrade your sleep as the weather heats up. Go to trymiracle.com/legalaf to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo LegalAF at checkout, you'll get a free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/legalaf and use the code LegalAF to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/legalaf to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. So that's going on while Judge Xinis is looking the Trump administration in the eye and saying, I'm done with your cat and mouse games. Now, at some point, she threw the reporters and everybody out of the room because she had to go into chambers to finish the hearing because they had to go like page by page about the state secrets issue, or at least she had to review it. There were issues that were going to come up that she didn't want in the public. So she took the rest of the hearing sort of in chambers. We will eventually know what that is, but there is just a God-smacking amount of sealed secret filings in this case by the Trump administration. because they don't want the American people to know either that they're not working to bring home Abrego Garcia in violation of the Supreme Court, or they are working. Either way, they don't want to let anybody know what's going on so they can publicly declare, like Donald Trump just did in his posting where he almost cried about the Supreme Court decision. They're not letting me deport criminals without due process. Yeah, because we don't know they're criminals yet. We don't even know if they're subject to the Alien Enemies Act. That's for an adversarial proceeding. No, I was elected. I won 7 battleground states. Joe Biden, sleepy Joe Biden. It's like kitchen magnet poetry with Trump. Talk about word salad. It's a word salad every time he creates a social media post. I don't want to give everybody due process. Yeah, you have to. That's what the Supreme Court says. And I'm sorry. I got caught up in my impersonation there for a minute. What's the end result? Judge is going to take it under advisement whether any part of the state secret privilege of things that she's entitled to know would be applicable. I doubt. Maybe a handful of documents. The rest of the documents are going to have to be provided to the other side. If they don't like it, they can take an appeal to the D.C. Court of Appeals. In the meantime, they're not doing jack shit. Sorry, pardon me. You can beep that out if you like, to bring home Abrego Garcia. And that's pissing off everybody, including the United States Supreme Court. I don't think it is a coincidence that the Supreme Court has issued 4 rulings against Donald Trump at the Supreme Court level just in the last month. And it's, 7-2. I'll do it in order. 9-0 on Abrego Garcia. Bring him home. 6-3 in JGG. You got to use writ of habeas corpus and due process and notice for these people. 2 cases involving something called AARP out of Texas. Ground the planes, give them due process, bring us back the Alien Enemies Act issue back to the United States Supreme Court. Those are his rulings, 4 in a row as a loss. He's not helping his cause pressing this losing hand. But we'll continue to follow it right here on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. I'm Michael Popok. Slide over to the MeidasTouch subscribe button. Boom. Come over to Legal AF. Hit the subscribe button. Boom. A lot of booming here. And then the Legal AF Substack as well. Till my next report, till my next Legal AF podcast, I'm Michael Popok, and I'm reporting. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.